Yo, get me across the street. Let me go. Let's go. Let's go.
The day is May 20th, 2000, and the lives of these two men are about to change forever. At this time, 50 Cent was known for his mixtapes, and there were reports that he had recorded his debut album, Power of the Dollar, with Columbia Records.
Yeah, and understand that. Understand the whole world revolves around change.
But this day was going to change everything. On this day, 50 steps out of his grandmother's house in South Jamaica, Queens, to join his friends in a parked vehicle. As soon as he settles in the car, another car, a black Ford Expedition, pulls up right beside 50 and his friends. Before anyone can make sense of what is happening, a man gets out of the Ford, points a gun, and shoots 50 Cent 9 times. The bullets hit the rapper in his arms, face, left cheek, hands, legs, and chest, and right away, the Ford zooms off. The rapper is left to die. However, 50 is rushed to the hospital in critical condition, where he is made to quickly go under the knife. The doctors report that he suffered nerve damage in his left cheek, and the injuries in his hands made it impossible to use his right thumb for a long time. But 50 was not going to give up. Within 13 days, the rapper was using a walker to move around, and within a few months of therapy, he could walk on his own again. While still recovering in the hospital, 50 finally gets signed to Columbia Records, and his debut album is slated for release. However, just only a few months after getting signed, Columbia did a 360, claiming that they were worried 50 was never going to make songs again. After losing his record deal, 50 was even more determined to rap again. And by March 2001, he began to walk without using a cane. Teaching himself to rap and even learning again to achieve his signature voice, 50 returned to music and released Guess Who's Back, a mixtape which launched him to national success.
I'm on parole, I used to be on probation. I with my gun, I get full cooperation.
But let's dial back to the shooting. What exactly happened and why was 50 a target? In the late 90s, 50 launched his career as a rapper, following the guidance of Jam Master K and drawing influence from NWA and Run DMC. With no label and manager to censor his lyrics, 50 Cent's early records took shots at real-life drug dealers in New York, even calling them by name. And one of such mentions happened on the song Ghetto Quran, where the rapper calls out a notorious New York drug dealer, Kenneth McGriff, also known as Supreme or Preem.
Yo, when you hear talk of the Southside, you hear talk of the team. You niggas fear Prince and respected Preem. For all you slow motherfuckers, I'ma break it down iller. See, Preem was the businessman and Prince was the killer.
Now, McGriff was one of the most dangerous kingpins in Brooklyn, and he was not so happy with 50 Cent name-dropping him and exposing his business to the entire world. So, he did what every kingpin would do, order a hit on 50 Cent for thousands of dollars. But as you know, a kingpin as powerful as McGriff would never pull a hit by himself. So he ordered a man named Daryl Hamo Baum to do the dirty work. And here's where it gets interesting. Daryl was not a nobody. In fact, he used to work as a bodyguard for Mike Tyson. Hamo wasn't born into a life of crime, and if you told him a few years earlier that he would someday have to shoot a rapper, he probably would argue that that would never happen. As a child, Hamo wanted to be a businessman, but growing up in Brooklyn unsupervised could be harmful to a promising child. As early as his teens, Hamo began hanging out with the wrong crowd, eventually going to prison in the early 90s. But before he even got into that life or into prison, Tyson and Hamo met as children in Brooklyn, with the two eventually becoming close as brothers. In 1992, Tyson was sent to jail after being convicted of rape, while Hamo was also in for some other charges. The boxer eventually got out in 1995, serving only a fraction of his sentence, while Hamo got out in 1999. But the successful boxer had not forgotten about his childhood friend, and as soon as he got out, he employed him as his personal bodyguard. The relationship between the two further improved to the point that Tyson met a number of Hamo's family members. But staying away from the street life is hard, and Hamo found himself back on the street, back at the lifestyle that had sent him to jail. Thinking he could make some extra bucks on the side, he decided to take McGriff's money to end 50 Cent's life. But as I said at the beginning of this video, this move was going to mean more than money for each man. It was going to completely change their lives. Just 3 weeks after the shooting of 50 Cent, Hamo was sitting in his car near the intersection of Quincy Street and Marcy Avenue in Brooklyn. And just like he had done to 50 3 weeks earlier, a car pulled up from behind him and he was shot to death. But he didn't survive like 50, and his dreams of ever becoming a businessman were gone. And it was like the incident that 50 mentioned on the song Many Men.
Round comes around, Hamo shot me, 3 weeks later he got shot down.
However, there was an even bigger twist. The murder of Hamo had nothing to do with 50 Cent, and everything to do with a drug deal gone wrong. The primary suspect in his case turned out to be a rival gang member, a man named Ivory Davis. The loss of Hamo was devastating to Tyson, and in June 2000, after defeating Lou Savarese in 38 seconds, he dedicated his victory to his former bodyguard and friend.
Punch that Tyson threw was like a kick from a horse, and the first one
He then offered a $50,000 reward for anyone who could provide any information that could lead to the arrest of Hamo's killers. At this point, I can guess the question on the mind of everyone watching. Did this connection affect the relationship between Tyson and 50 Cent? Fortunately, this had no effect on the growing friendship between 50 Cent and Iron Mike, as the rapper even bought a mansion in Connecticut from him. Unfortunately, the aftermath of Hamo's death wasn't entirely great for his family. Tyrone, his brother, couldn't make peace with his brother's death, and he swore to avenge him. But naturally, this caused him to step on the toes of powerful people. And on the 25th of June 2003, he was gunned down and killed like his brother. Hamo and Tyrone's investigation opened a can of worms, exposing other kingpins like Damian Hardy, who was Lil' Kim's ex-boyfriend. And 50 Cent, he refused to share any information to the authorities about the shooting. He was probably not willing to be considered a snitch, nor would he put a target on the back of his loved ones by saying anything. And 50 knew it was pointless going for revenge against Kenneth McGriff because the kingpin already had it coming. He was sentenced to life imprisonment in 2007, and he is still being housed at the United States Penitentiary in Pine Knot, Kentucky. Instead, 50 Cent took the smart way out. He built on the popularity of his survival to grow his rap career, and this paid off heavily. After being dropped by Columbia, he got signed by Dr. Dre and Eminem, and finally released his debut album, Get Rich or Die Trying, in 2003. Not only would he sell over 30 million copies of this album worldwide, he also won a Grammy Award, and this established him as one of the most successful rappers of the early 21st century. And today, that fame is still very much relevant, and it can be traced back to the 9 bullets from Daryl Hamo Bomb. Do you think 50 Cent could have been this successful if that shooting never happened? Let's hear what you think in the comment section.